Hi, welcome back to Flower Patch Farmhouse. Today we are going to prune my Thanksgiving cactus. A lot of people call these Christmas cactus because they actually are sold in the stores as Christmas cactus. But if we all want to be exact about it, they're actually Mayflowers because they come from Brazil and that's what they call them down there. So let's get going on pruning my Thanksgiving cactus because it's done blooming. This is the perfect time. It may bloom more, but I don't see any buds coming up on it. Let me show you really quick. This is the Mighty Fine Thanksgiving Cactus. This one is called Exotic Dancer, and it is a real pretty bright red with some orange undertones at the base of the flower. I will put up a picture for you right now, right here, and you can see what it looks like. But it is ready for a prune. Right after it blooms is a really good time to prune it there because it hasn't had a chance to make next year's buds yet. And if I waited too late, it would. Now I'm pruning it because I want to get some cuttings from this one and I want to start them. But also I want to keep it more compact. I don't want it to get too big for this pot. So let's get to it. I'm going to get my container that I'm going to put my cuttings in, and then I'll come back and we can start pruning this. It's super easy, super easy. So I will be right back. So here is my container. It's just a little jar I painted with poppies, California poppies and some lupin. And I am going to figure out how I want this to be shaped. And I'm just going to pull off some little cuttings. I try to go for at least 2 to 3 leaf nodes. These aren't really leaves. What do they call, like stems? And so this one has like 4 coming out of it. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm just going to take one of these side ones. And a lot of people will leave these out to let this heal over, but I have typically just put them into my jar. Now this has stones in the bottom and then water just up to the bottom of the stones, so that this piece may be barely touching water, and the humidity alone will help them to root, but they don't have a tendency to rot. I've tried these in soil, but they've always rotted on me. So I find it better to do it in the jar. Okay, let's do that again. I'm going to pick another one. Now you just look at it overall. This is actually just 2 stems in here, but look how thick it is. And I've got a little one coming up down here at the base. So this is going to continue to be big and lush. And here's another one. There is 2 stems coming from the top of this one, and then there's 2 coming down from this lower bract. So I'm just going to pinch one of those out. I just take my thumbnail and pinch it off. Now I didn't get a lot of the little node that's on the bottom, so that one I don't know if it will root or not, but even if it didn't, I can twist this off and get 2. And you see how it has that little nub on it? That is what will root. And even these can go down into the jar. And I could try to go ahead and root this one as well. Sometimes they will surprise you. So this one over here, right here, you see how it has branching down here and then branching up here. I'm going to take one of these right here. There's 3 coming off here. And I'm just going to twist and pull it with my thumbnail. And another one. And that, my friends, is how I prune. You can prune back a Thanksgiving or Christmas cactus by 1/3, I'm told, 30%, to keep it in shape without harming it. I don't know why you couldn't do more. I don't know why you would want to, but anyway, so that is how I prune my Thanksgiving cactus. This is what I do with the cuttings. I start more, and I will show you what my Christmas cactus looks like right now. So right here is my Christmas cactus, the true Christmas cactus. You see how it's a little more slender in the stems. Forgive my chicken. She's letting me know she's laid an egg. And the lobes of it are less sharp. You see how sharp these ones are compared? That's why the Thanksgiving is also called a crab cactus, because those little leaves or stems are very sharp on the edges, while this one is very rounded. But you see how pretty this is? Look, it's blooming. It's been blooming for about I would say almost a month. And it's still got more coming on. Here's another one coming on. That one looks like it might drop. When there's a sharp change in temperature, or sometimes when you move them in your house around, they will drop buds. But here's another one coming on. But it's been blooming, and there's another little bud. Just fine. And when it's done blooming, I will go ahead and transplant this one, because you see the soil's just pretty hard. And I'll just pot it up into a pot that's just a little bit bigger. It doesn't have to be much bigger. And I'll use a sandy mix. But that is root bound, and not that the soil just clumped. That's just it filled with roots. And that's why it's like just a solid clump. But it's done well. In terracotta, the roots get air because terracotta breathes, whereas these plastic pots don't breathe. But I've had good success, because look at this one. This one is in a plastic pot. I've got gravel on top, and there's 2 pieces in there, and it's doing pretty good too. Now, in the summer, once the danger of frost has gone past, then I put mine outside on a covered porch. And they get a lot of natural light, not direct sun. They get a lot of natural light. And then in the fall, when we're going to have a sharp decline in temperatures and it gets close to freezing, that's when I bring them in. And all of mine bloom. And it's because they get that natural shortening of the day, because they've been outside while the days have actually started shortening, rather than being inside under artificial light. So a lot of people say, oh, to get them to bloom, put them in a closet, or they get dark. And, that's a lot of work. Who's got time for that? So mine are just outside. And usually it's about October before I bring them in. So they've already gotten those shortened days. That helps them produce blossoms. So that's how I get mine to bloom. Simple and not a lot of work, other than putting them out. But they're really pretty outside in the summer. And they make a great plant with other plants on a shady porch. So I hope you enjoyed seeing how I prune. Maybe I will come up closer. I'll do another shot of how to prune this, so that just in case you didn't see the first time, you can see better this time. So now that we're here, you see how this one has 4 coming out? No, 3. 1, 2, 3. Coming out of this one. I'm just going to take a side one off, and I twist, have my thumbnail in there, and take it off. And you see this little node here? That's where the roots come from. As long as you have that, this will root. And this goes in the jar with the others. I use stones. You could also use, if you could see the stones in there, I also use perlite. I've got a jar in my studio that has perlite in it, and I've got some in that to do this. So you don't have to have stones if you've got perlite, or you could do it on sand. Just make sure the water line's barely up to the bottom of where those touch, and you should be fine. And I have a video already on potting them up. So if you want to go see that, I'll put a link to it in the description box on how I pot up my cuttings once they have rooted. Now, depending on the time of year, it really depends on, or if you have lights that you can put them under, how fast they root. But I don't have any problem in them rooting fairly fast. And when I say fast, I mean within weeks. So, but there's no hard and fast rule of how fast they will root. So I always get asked, how fast? Well, it all depends. I have varieties that take longer. I have a yellow one. It takes a little bit longer for it to root. I hope you enjoyed this video, and come on back for more gardening tips and tricks in the greenhouse, out in the garden, or wherever I may be. I will see you later. Bye-bye.